Friday morning, everyone. Weird. Okay, test. Let's see. Does it sound? Or- Hi there, viewers. Let me know if you can. Well, streaming each streaming on like on YouTube. Do as you go. Port. Portion. Oh, can I? Now, ready? My nice, awesome port. Very nice port. Let's see. Does everyone have want to participate design process, just that. Take your advices. So that position. Start with. Okay, so let me switch to application. So we're gonna start with separation of concerns. So we start to separate, and I need to switch in fan mode. So we're gonna start with thinking about various parts of this. So we're gonna start with separating input data, data, need to hope. Okay, good. So we're gonna start with drawings. An input list of inputs we have for layered navigation. Then we're gonna put something what we're gonna show you, and then site with right. So usually when you see a page, right, a lot of stuff happening. General e-commerce pages, they have filters somewhere in order to narrow down products on a category page. They have sort orders, and they have usually all information. So there is not much more stuff happening over there. So let's start with simple definition, like what is the input usually. In our case, when we category page, first of all, right, it's information which category we are on. So this is our main kind of scope based on which we're gonna narrow down the result. Or it also can be search, right? So it can also be search query. And this is kind of interesting because only products that are in category or in search are going to be shown on our. We want to scope our data like that. Hey, speed up, mate. Yeah, so definitely, like, search looks kind of compelling. However, I think that search itself is a special case of category in Magento area, pure like, because in Magento you have still to narrow down the search result by the store root category. Like, you cannot have Magento, you cannot have category without yeah, you cannot have search without having a root category, because the root category tells to Magento which products are available within this particular view to be shown. Magento, let me actually create a new layer. So here are my layers, and I'm gonna just add a new one. Let's start with a little bit of example. What actually consists of the product being visible somewhere. So first of all, like, we have product, right, that is assigned to categories, or it is assigned to, actually it should be assigned to both of them. It should be assigned to category and to a website. And this category relation within a product, right? So this category relation within a product is kind of required, like both of the things, like assignment to a category and assignment to a website, are required in order to see this product on the front end. If you don't have product assigned at least into one category, usually Magento doesn't show this product, or at least it shouldn't. And then you can also, actually you can, technically you can, but anyway, Magento indexes work in such a way that on the front end you usually can access this category product index that already contains the category. And back to now somehow just so we have a little bit more space, and let's also right here something like scope, and uh, scope and actual stuff related to. Yeah, so we have a scope, that is our category or a search narrowed result. So first of all, yeah, scope is gonna be a category, and also it's gonna be or gonna be a search string. And technically, we can even create a system where the scope is gonna drive our stuff on a category page as well. Like we can have search as a specific variation of a category that is a root category itself with the possibility to search. So we basically can create a functionality where we can search for products even within categories itself. So we can create a functionality that will automatically narrow down a search result if you have a search query. So kind of interesting feature to do. I think again increase my size of quite bad at Inkscape drawing, but just need to get my fingers off the buttons. So the next one is gonna be also filters, right? So filters are gonna be another input we have over here, and filters, those are just facets like subcategories. If you have, let's say, so by this, your category is a search that has at least root category plus website set as initial parameters. Yes, set up my idea. So this is basically it. Like in my case, like what I described here, like search is a category where you have a search string applied to it, and the regular Magento quick search is going to be yeah, our root category based page with a search string applied to it. And in regular categories, it is the same case with an empty search string. Then we have filters, right, that can affect our search results. And another thing is pages, right? So we want also to receive only subset of the product data. We don't want, let's say, to receive all the products available in category in a single page itself, because there can be thousands of them and it can be quite expensive for us to. And what we can write here, well, it's sort order, right? As an input, this another part of the system affects the output of the page with layered navigation. Am I missing any other variables that can affect the view part of the system? Um, so those are all inputs based on which we can. So the next thing would be to find out, like what kind of things we can send between this boundary in order to generate a view, because like this is an input that we receive from outside, or HTTP request that contains category URL, it filters an URL, it contains pages, it sort order, and kind of easy to quiz, right? So this is our input, and here our output is going to be giving some data to view in order to render the output of the page. So we can couple of things here, and I was thinking about building a system where a single input request like that would result in some kind of data being supplied to you, like facets. So this is the filterable values. So facet is kind of an output with some filter name, and also have some right as well available to filter. Yeah, but we'll discuss filter more in detail, because kind of complex thing to take a look at. So then on a view as well, we can tell information about available sort orders, right? So we can tell search result by which fields you actually can sort our result set. So this is kind of a thing like you need to tell somehow, or like how they can narrow down our how they can order our result set. And another thing that we want to output on a view is page numbers, right? So we want to tell how many pages or what kind of page since we can provide hey, what are our page limits, right? So how many items per page, or what is the page number right now? So we can provide this data. And as the last thing, what we need to provide is those product IDs. So the product IDs is going to be provided as a result for review. We are not going to provide here any product data, because the rendering of the products should be completely separate task from actual faceted view of the page, because you might show something on the product detail in a list that might not be present in our search slash layered engine, right? So we want to separate it as much as possible. So this is kind of narrows down a list of our ideas a little bit, right? So we can work with it, I think. So what I was thinking as well about, like, we probably can somehow have our available, let's say, facets, available sort orders, page limit being completely separated from category and create a separate entity for it. Will be responsible for managing those options, and then just map this entity into categories, or create a mapping where you can say, hey, for categories in this current category, we're gonna specify these filters. Category, we're gonna specify other filters. Something that is not available out of the box in Magento, however, we're gonna implement it in this extension. And I already did this before for Magento one, Let me see if I can actually show you something. Probably not, because in general, like the basic idea would be to make it possible for a merchant also to change available facets, change sort orders per page. So let's say it does make sense, let's say, to create a sort by discount on sale page, but it doesn't make sense to have a sort by discount on a regular page, because you probably don't want to let people to sort by discount on categories where you not intend to do it. Or for instance, sort by something like um, let's say offer expires date or something. So let's then save file. I'll save it as, first of all, gonna libraries, and here in the library, actually I need to terminal. I'm gonna check out my empty repository just create. Browser view. So yesterday I just created empty repository without anything. Copy it over. Go into count. Yeah. So awesome application. This is kind of placeholder. Gonna base our design on, and I'm gonna in a separate way. It's harder to share part of the screen. Like it. So go to libraries, and then we do git clone, and here we are. Now I can go in just because from working. So let's see. Can I switch now? Work, but probably on self first. Okay, so project call that sort. Then go to libraries and okay, great. So now we are in our new project. Here I'm just gonna save the kind of design. Uh, under for that. So here so now I go on there and I call it filter here's some of the things I wanted to summarize itself. Like when we are building alert navigation, there is probably generally only 3 different types of filters we have. Just explain. What do I mean? Like usually Magento has multiple offerings from point of view of UI. Oh, let's do. Point of view of UI, Magento has a lot of them, right? Or various Magento extensions. We have, for instance, usually we have something like checkbox style things that have, let's say, sizes. Or for instance, we can have radio boxes, right? This is kind of style of it. It can be either link or radio box, and it can be something like probably, let's just put some value of words. And another one, usually like you sometimes even three of category 1, category 2, category 3. So this one is kind of interesting because it's kind of filter that applies additional category condition as a faceted option. So it's not really a category view. It's kind of narrowing down search result. And the fourth one is usually one for prices. So actually we have and another one that we have, for instance, we have also price ranges. Let's say everything that is below 100, from 100 till, let's say, 200. Those kind of ranges, right? And what's here as well, like we have also 200, 300, and let's say more than 300. So this is price range, and here, for instance, we can also have another kind of, so this is price brackets, where let's say I have prices as a brackets for specific. Then you also can create something like like slider, right? You can say, hey, I have, let's say, slider of values from 100 to 1000, and just put, let's say, slider to limit those values internally. So this is kind of tells here is the minimum value and maximum value that you can have, and here's the actual applied filter itself. So speed up mate, what do you mean? Maybe this should map out to all supported attribute types and attribute sets too, make it possible to compare sizes for any attribute set specific variable values. I mean, like, yeah, so right now I'm just talking about the UI types that in the wild. What I'm actually planning to do with this kind of information, I'm just gonna try and think about, hey, how can we take this kind of data, right? And how can we how can we take this kind of data and so how can we take this data as visible part, right? So this is a UI parts, and how can we transfer it into the actual applicable filters? Because usually there is much more smaller variety of filters than actual UI, because like selecting one of the options, it's usually an in condition. Let's say selecting one of the categories usually also can be narrowed down to in condition. Like we don't need to have equal condition there. We can just reuse the same logic. Range is a little bit different, like it's condition between. This one is still like equal or an in condition, and this one it's just a range. So I don't know if there's any other options. Like there's basically only two types of filter, right? So there's only two types of filter. One is in, and another is basically a range. So I didn't see any other options being used in a while, and because like if you want to filter by text, you usually use a search string. You don't use a separate text attribute, because first of all it doesn't make sense, because it's called a facet because it's facets as the output, not to for free range text field or to filter the navigation. Like we can implement it, but yeah, it just doesn't make sense. So am I missing any kind of a filter here? Yeah, so multiple select is covered by this condition. So let's say in. So multiple select and single select, they're both mapped to the same in. So here is the multiple select, and here is a single select. So radio buttons in checkboxes. Checkboxes are multi-select, and if you think about, let's say, Magento attributes as multi-select, yeah, it doesn't matter for faceted navigation, because we should separate the view from the actual data representation. Like we don't care about what kind of data we have on a backend, because here we're gonna go into another area of what actually I plan to do with this extension development, because like I want to make sure that we even have a very loose connection between attributes and actual facets. And my basic idea is that filters are kind of related to Magento attributes, but they don't have to be Magento attributes. And here I'll just actually let me just explain it in another layer. So let's create, let's say, df for attribute loose connection. Okay. And let me hide previous one. And let me just explain a little bit. So let me just go large size here. So what can I do here? First of all, I was thinking about, like, we have product attribute, right? And this, let's say, product attribute, it has some values, like it has, let's say it's a color, right? So it's a color of a product, and it can be red, it can be pink, right? It can be green, it can be, let's say, rose, and it can be my writing is terrible here. So let's say, yeah, so we have maybe, yeah, so let's say we have rose, so we have rose, we have red, we have pink, we have violet, and let's say we have green. However, from a filter perspective, do I want to have customer to filter by every single color, or maybe I want to create a group of values? Because as a merchant, I might want to group, let's say, rose and pink into one thing. Yeah, others. So let's say I want to have rose and pink, let's say, be somewhat red as a filter option, and let's say then violet, and then let's say green. So, and when, let's say, I choose this filter, it will show me the products that are all of these specific attribute values. So idea is that product attributes should not be strict. So idea is that you cannot have filters being directly only product attribute. You want to have some kind of level of indirection, and you can have, let's say, a filter that is a product attribute, but not every single filter is. But the product attribute can be a filter. And I was doing it before in Magento one, like I was building an extension where you would be able, let's say, to have, let's say, a product attribute called rose, red, and pink, like colors that you can create attribute groups. Or for instance, I also had another interesting case with a customer. Close this one. So another case I had here, let's say, is that I had an attribute called, say, discount, and on the front end the customer didn't want to show the exact discount values. He wanted to create some kind of a range for a discount, or let's say discount brackets. Like he wanted to have discounts being managed manually from the backend panel in of, let's say, automatic ranges or something like that. And then a filter was looking like that. So we had a discount. Discount can be like 12% on the product price, would be like 13%, or let's say 60%, or let's say 61%, or let's say 8%. And what he wanted to show, Alert navigation, he wanted to show like plus, let's say 10% discount. So like he wanted to have a filter like that, or let's say, sorry, not a plus, probably better to here 10% discount, all the products that are, let's say, in a range from 10, and let's say he was specifying it, was specifying in a backend, he was telling like everything that is more than 10%, but no, everything that is, say, less than 20%, but say more than 10%. So he wanted to have brackets like that. Then he would specify 20% discount category, where he would specify something more than or less than, let's say, 30, and more than, so something like that. So he was specifying those brackets and was showing it as an actual checkbox on the front end. So you would be able to choose various filter options. And in such a way, like, you had to create kind of virtual filters based on that. Or for instance, like maybe he even would create a filter that would be something like a combined attribute. Like you could create a new filter, for instance, alert navigation, and say you can call it trend, right? So you can create a new filter and you can call it trend, and you can specify something like spring casual as one of the options. And then let's say you have a color and you have collection and you have say season, and then you can combine like, or let's say not, probably in this case, if we think about spring casual, can probably better create some style. So style, and then there is multiple styles like official, or let's say comfy, so on, like, and some of those combinations of options plus, let's say, collection for spring and season, let's say 2020 slash 2021. And then let's say based on various combination of attributes, you might want to create a new filter, because like if products matches official style and coffee or comfy style and it's in spring collection and it is from this season, then you want to put it, let's say, under the filter. So instead of creating a new attribute in Magento and managing those products manually, merchant just can create, let's say, instantly a new filter value, define for it rules, and then it's gonna be a new faceted field that on indexation gonna appear on the front end. Like merchant has to do zero work on changing attributes. That's better for performance because, you know, like generating those attributes at real time is almost no-brainer because you have to read anyway products in order to export it into your search table or search engine, and then you can just create filters in any way you like. Yeah, thanks, Speed Up, mate. I like that you like my ideas. So this is basically what I already was doing for Magento 1, and now I want to bring it as an open source extension for Magento 2. So I just want to make sure, like, out of the box, you have something that's gonna be awesome and gonna be easy to manage for customers. So this is basically what we have with filters. Let's also talk about sort orders, right? So sort orders kind of, I want to also make sure that the sort orders are kind of decoupled from Magento attributes as well, because like if you have a sort order, let's say only by price attribute, like you're completely limited because you cannot add another condition over there, because usually merchants not just want to show, let's say, products that are cheaper in price, but also, let's say, they want to show first products that are in stock, or for instance maybe they want to upsell some products on a page. So what I was thinking about, that also, like, you can have, let's say, a couple of attributes. You can have an attribute like the price, right, of the product. You can have also an attribute like featured, right? And you can also have an attribute, or actually a system field, like it can be just stock stock status. And all those attributes together, like, can result into an own sort order that we will call on the front end we will call price. But let's say it's gonna first of all order products by price, let's say ascending, and let's say you can change here the direction, right? You can say that it's ascending or descending, so it can be both of these directions here in a system. However, we always want to show, no matter is it ascending or descending, we, let's say, want always to show all the products that have featured attribute being set in descending order. So like if you have a featured one, then you want to make sure that it's always shown on top of the products that have, let's say, maybe a greater or lower price, but it's still gonna be shown on top. So let's say you want to always show those ones on top within a price range. Actually, should be places, and here, yeah, should be a little bit different. So let's say the price needs to be applied as a third in a queue, like should be a number 3 in application, and the future, let's say, gonna be number 2, and the stock status we will always want to show on top of the page only products that are in stock. So we don't want to show products that are out of stock on the first page of our e-commerce store. We want to still want to show the products because it's a good idea to show a product even if it's out of stock, because it gives us some geo value. And when customer browses on Google, like if product goes out of stock and it's not anymore available in our store, yeah, it returns for a 4 page. So customer thinks like, yeah, I will never visit this e-commerce store again. However, if you just put it into the bottom of the page like that, yeah, it just works, and customers are having better shopping experience because every single product that they see in a price is available and in stock. Merchants are happy because they can upsell some products to put it on top of the list, even through the price is different, right? And then you can have also the price being switchable. So you can choose, let's say, which direction of the sort order gonna be used and so on. So by default, like, you can use standard sort order that comes with regular attribute values, but generally you would be able to choose a sort order that will have a complex rule like that. So you could say, hey, this field, let's say, gonna be changing directions. This is always gonna be in this direction. So you always have a control over, yeah. And this is basically what I was thinking about, that, yeah, we shouldn't attach selectable sort orders on the front end directly to the attributes of Magento products. So this is kind of a lock design in current Magento Clarity navigation and search pages, that you have this kind of bound relation between an attribute and a filter or a sort order. We want to completely separate them. We just to have separate data, our search parameters, that is can be an attribute or can be just something custom that we customizable, easily replaceable internally. So this is basically it, right? So here is about save it. Save, so file is saved. Now, what else? So we want to see, right? Probably wanted to also take a look at page. So what can we think about the page limits itself? We have a category page, right? We have this block where you can select each page you are on. That, and the last page, like 50. Then let's say you can choose one. So you can, for instance, choose like 20, how many products per page you would show. And this kind of, right, nice thing to have. Like, I don't know if we need to change anything here. Like, basically we just need to have page number. In our case, we need to know products per page, and we need to know, of course, as a result of our request, like what is the total number of products on a page. So this should be enough to actually start and creating some interfaces, seeing where can we go from there. Drawing is just a discovery phase, and let me know if you still wanna discuss something that can be of interest to take a look at, or maybe have some interest in that really makes sense, let's say, to implement. Just let me know. Yeah, so everything related to the UI, bit up mate. So everything that related to the UI, it should be separated from the basic filtration logic. So what I'm trying to find right now, like what kind of data input we can have that might affect our output, right? So we want to know from which point of entry. Okay, so yes, it's covered by that input. Okay, great. So we can go on and now switch to the code editor, right? So we can do and create something in the code editor. I'm gonna close. Just gonna my stylus into the holder, and here we can create finally a directory called src. We can even do something that I didn't do here yet. We'll create a new composer package. We'll call it awesome pirate navigation. Let's call it awesome pirate navigation for Magento 2, right? Minimum stability, yeah, stable. Yeah, let's put for now library. We will change it later on when we come to actually testing it within Magento itself. A license mid. No. Dev dependency, yes. We're gonna also include PHP unit. This is gonna be the dependency number 0. Great. And just gonna take okay. That's it. Let's generate it. Add ignore. Like to install dependencies now. Yeah. Do. So I don't have something in my PHP version. Let me see. Collection request for PHP units that is fileable. Yeah. I need to install PHP. I don't remember which one. Yeah. Yeah. One, so I need to install all. Yeah. Or I think it's Tom, right? Okay, that's good. Does it not in it again? Just install. Let's see, does it work? MB string as well. Okay, good. One more thing. Why it doesn't tell us everything that we need to install? Okay, finally it installs. Let's see. So here we are. We have our composer file. So in our composer file, we'll need some of the load rules, and I'll call it def file application dash will point to src directory. I'll get status. Great. So we're gonna reset for now, and we're gonna run and git flow init. Git flow init. Good. Status. And git res. Reset because I didn't want to add vendor. I would add first git ignore, right? So vendor is now should be outside of. Oh yeah. Run git dash apply and ignore, and now the vendor directory is finally move computer from now. We also need to add another one here. Add idea directory as well outside, because it's just something that ID adds to the page. Because ignore. Okay. Now I can mark this route, right? I try to create now a class. Okay, it still doesn't pick up the name. Why? Does it? Settings. Good. And let's see. It now allows us to create a class here. No. Okay, this is a little bit weird in my editor, but sometimes it happens. I can't console. Okay, I need to restart my editor. Something fails there. Start it. So, composer. Okay, now it works. Working. Does it the namespace at all? Okay. Oh yeah, because actually my after load section is wrong. Very nice. It should be PSR4. Then I should specify something like that. And now probably it's gonna parse. No, not yet. Tools here. No, not the composer, but can I just okay. Composer validate. It's valid. Doesn't pick it up. Settings. Composer. Third. Wrong here. Okay. Let's just put here wire statement. Well, let's see if it gonna prompt us to install some dependencies. And require statement is actually gonna be, first of all, that PHP version is gonna be 7.4 plus, something like that. Key require duplicate. Okay. And now user update. Here we are. Just gonna let me now do it. This is weird. Very weird. Okay. Let's settings. Let's specify it manually here. And when I now try to create a class, it still doesn't. That's module settings, edit. Okay, now at least it looks like it works. In our graphics there, and yeah, finally the namespace is correct, and we can create our first class and call it. Where we're gonna create, and we'll call it API. Yeah, so for now, SpeedUpMate, I just put it over here. However, probably we can drop support to 7.2 because, yeah, we are actually not gonna use any features, but mostly I'm using 7.4 here because I depend on this PHP unit version. But probably what I can do here, like here I can specify 7.2, but let's say here I can specify maybe PHP 7 7.4 dev dependency. Now, because the PHP unit itself has requirement of 7.4 as far as. So probably it. Does it work like that if I specify something like that? We just say, yeah, we support 7.2 above. The only thing is that we won't be able to run our tests if the PHP version is below the version required by PHP. However, let me just check. Let's browser. Let's see PHP unit minimum version. Right? Okay, so minimum PHP unit version is actually 7.3. So we actually don't need to depend on 7.4, right? We can use 7.3. And let's quickly see on php.net what are current supported PHP versions. So 7.2 is still probably actively supported. Let's go into downloads and oh, don't remember where it is. Oh yeah, here's supported version. So let's see. We can see that 7.2 is only security fixes right now. So it's kind of on the 1st of January. Like there's gonna be no more 7.2 support globally in general. So everyone anyway have to go to 7.3. And yeah, probably we have to specify just 7.3 as the minimum version required. I think it's reasonable because people anyway gonna switch over, have to switch over to. So yeah, 10.3 seems like a reasonable bet, right? So we can put it here, 7.3, and probably I'm gonna specify something like that, or 7.4 an app, because I don't remember exactly, like probably it's something like that, better to specify. So it's gonna restrict it to this minor versions because I want to make sure that extension is marked as incompatible unless I've run all the tests and made sure that extension is, let's say, completely compatible with 7.5 version of PHP. It's gonna be released ever. I think the next one, the 8. Who knows? Let's see. Let's run composer update. Yeah, good. And here in API, we probably have to create now some classes. So we can, oh my goodness, wrong one. So it should be a single slash. Why it does specify it here as one. A little bit of a mystery. So if I specify as a single flash, does it gonna work? Apply, okay. And okay, so it probably was the only problems that didn't work right with that one. But now I can go into API and I can just create a new interface. And this interface is gonna be our our request. Let's say it's a request for. Oh, yes. Thank you very much, Renner Lomp. I'll switch to it. So switching to. Unfortunately, you don't see my pop up with the class name, so I'll just call it this awesome alert navigation a request. Okay, so this is our request interface. This request is gonna have just function get category ID as an integer, let's say like that. Do we have return types in 7.3? Let's see. Oh yeah, I have to switch to a different language level. PHP term. Yeah, just call you Rin, okay? I'll call you Rin then. Then we have here, as we've discussed before, like we're gonna have get filters. Gonna be an array, and we're gonna have get sort order, and it's gonna be probably should be something like get sort field, and it's gonna be string that is nullable. Wait a second. Do I have wrong? Oh, it should be at the beginning. Up here, which okay, it slowly shows me which PHP versions supported for. Then it should be feel like get sort direction. But do I want to have it like as nullable, or maybe I always want to have a value over there? Yeah, I always want to have a value. I will just set it to default value when I'm gonna use a factory in order to create this request. So this is basically just gonna be a data object that will have only getters that's gonna be sent to my search and category API. And so category ID, filters, sort field, sort direction, then gonna be get items or get page size. So this is gonna be integer, and here is gonna be also get, let's say, current page. Page position could be, but like we have a page size, so the page size, let's say 20 items, and the current page is say 1, 2, or 3. Page position is more related to the product on the page from the naming perspective. Do you agree, or we have better arguments for the page position itself? It just would be more okay. So what I was thinking as well, like those two things are kind of look like a one thing. So usually if you have in an object two getters that are related to the same data structure, like you cannot have sort field without sort direction, and you cannot have current page without knowing the page size, right? So maybe it makes sense to encapsulate them together like a known data type, because otherwise it's just gonna be not making sense. So what I'm thinking about, like just creating a new interface. Let's call it sort. Let's call it sort argument, or sort criteria. Yeah. Let's follow Magento standards. So sort criteria and get field string, and it's gonna have the not the class, interface. So sort criteria and get direction, right? So string. Good. Good. And paging criteria. Probably yes. So it's good when we design it all together, so we can come up, like I don't have to spend too much time on figuring out names. And I forgot to choose this self, and here we can size. However, I probably will replace the get size on with a different pattern later on. But for now, it's just for prototyping, because I found out like better to not have getters in your code. So as let's say you can have request interface. Let's have actually speak to you not in getters, but say in actionable in actionable options. You can say, hey, I want to apply this request to something, and then this apply to something, this something would have a couple of methods that will apply, let's say, a sort, or will apply filters, or will apply pagination. Actually, let's actually refactor to this. Yeah, let's finish with the paging criteria. So get sort criteria, good paging criteria 2, paging all. So we have sort criteria, have this paging criteria, right? And filters and category ID. On thing, right? We will probably have. What I wanna do, just factors is request the actual item. So I'm gonna create a new method and I will call it apply request, and we're gonna apply it in request processor that we're gonna supply as an argument, and it's gonna be void. So kind of follows separation of concerns, like just applies it to another object, and this another object, let's say, have to filter this one by other. So let's create a class processor. Okay, we're gonna change space, and then here this one is gonna have a method, let's say use category, and let's say it's gonna receive an argument category ID. Then let's say it can have another method called use query, where let's say we receive as an argument search query, or let's say use search query, also void. So this is kind of a way for us to separate the data that we send. Like our request can be anything. The most important thing, what is gonna apply into the request processor. We'll tell, hey, use a category with this ID, use search query with this query text. Oh, yeah. So the search query, I think should be just search text. So it's gonna be definitely easier, because yeah, search criteria is kind of gonna mess up with them in understanding of Magento search criteria in that one. So search text sounds better. Now we can do, actually we can apply category scope, and we can probably, no, let's just use category, use search text, and then we can, let's say, apply filters, or maybe filter. Better just apply a filter. Yeah, it's gonna be better to specify like field, and then you can specify value, and value can be probably an array of values, because it can be either one or multiple ones, right? Or it can be a range. So for us, it doesn't matter what's internal implementation of the filter application. Then we can also specify something like apply sort order, or apply sort. And here what we can do, we can just specify again string field and string direction, and it's gonna be void, right? And the same thing gonna be to apply pagination. It's gonna be int page size and int current page. So again, void, and here we are. Basically, it's actually looks in my opinion like it speaks better what it actually does than having a getter, because getters are making your code cumbersome. And now someone can just implement an on request processor that will receive this request object, and then will know that, yeah, when those methods are called, the request itself is going to apply itself. So category, use search tags, apply filter, apply sort, apply nation. Good. Then actually we don't need sort criteria at all. Like, it doesn't make sense to have this classes all in our case, because we have a request and we have a request processor. So request receives the request processor as an argument and applies the required information. So this should be probably more than enough. Then we probably gonna create the response as well. This one is gonna be a little more trickier, right? Because we need to somehow communicate with a similar API. So this one I like already. I don't know how do you feel about it, but for me, like, if in order to generate a request, like, I can just create any kind of a class. I don't need to implement a lot of methods. I just need to call specific methods on a request processor. In case if I want to have, let's say, a class called category request, it will only call this use category with apply sort and apply pagination. If I have a faceted category request, it's gonna have apply filter calls, apply sort, and apply pagination. So this kind of nice way to separate different type of behaviors through a visitor pattern. Like, okay, that's more than enough. Then we can create an interface for response. It's gonna be quite interesting, right? Have some filters, we have some sort orders. So once object probably wanna have function to do something with filters. What can we do with filters that will encapsulate a behavior? What kind of name we can use here? Okay, never mind. We already 10 minutes past. Yeah, so add a processor, definitely like flat interface here. Response processor, and this response processor will have something like maybe add facet. Then it will facet object itself. Filter is also less abstraction. Filter, and then the facet itself is going to be an object that will contain something like options that are available. However, it can be anything like. Probably it should just be there as different variation data to be applied. However, we probably need to think about it a little bit later, right? Filter code itself, and facet is going to be type, and the missing return type, yeah, it should be void. Yeah, we will think about it next stream, and we're gonna go deeper into the design. So let's get yeah, thanks SpeedUpMate for joining the stream. And yeah, I'm just gonna commit this stuff, and that's all. So till the next time, you will be able to see the updates in the repositories that I've mentioned in a tweet and calendar event. So thank you, everyone. Have a nice weekend. Till the next time.